Welcome back to the Field of 68, live from the Final Four in Houston, Texas. We just broke down the Florida Atlantic San Diego State thriller, and now we're going to move to a dominant performance from the UConn Huskies. We are presented, as always, by Bet Rivers and by Underdog Fantasy. Terrence Oglesby, Rob Dauster, I'm Greg Waddell, and Jeff Goodman we welcome to the show right now. The best team in the tournament played like the best team in the tournament again tonight. That was the story for me with UConn. Jeff, what did you see?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've now seen all 5 of UConn's games in person, and all 5 have been kind of snoozers because they've just blown out everybody. And
dominant.
Dominant. Dominant games every single time. Albany, Vegas, now here. And they've just got so many weapons, and Adama Sanogo has just been as consistent a player as there's been in the country over the last month or so. I mean, really for most of the year. You know, we never really talked about him as a first-team All-American candidate, but now, if you were voting now after the tournament, you would have to put him in the discussion.
He's played better in this tournament than he did for the majority of the
season.
No
question.
He's had those games,
just consistent every game.
You didn't like. He was always kind of like you were getting 15 and 10 from him. Yeah. You kind of knew that you were going to get a good.
Now you're getting 20 and 10.
Now you're getting his start. I actually made this. I'm glad you brought this up. So I was having this conversation. I think I was talking with you? I was talking with someone back there. Maybe you.
Maybe it was that chair.
And we it might have been that chair. and when it comes to UConn, like you have the Kemba Walker tournament run, right? And you have the Shabazz Napier tournament run. I think this is the Adama Sanogo tournament run. He's been.
I think it's the Dan Hurley tournament, right?
That's exactly what it is. In the mix of those guards, really?
He was.
I know, but it's just so different when you have guards, right? Yes. Like it's just electric with Kemba and Shabazz compared to.
But also, I feel like those two
Adama sets the tone. That's you said this. You actually said this a couple of weeks ago. That again, what Adama does, they go to him, and then it opens it up for Hawkins. And every second half, it's true. Mm-hmm. It's just the Jordan Hawkins show.
But I think it's no disrespect to the teammates on those teams, but those guys were the story because they were almost single-handedly propelling that team forward.
That's not this UConn
That's
team.
not this team.
I don't know. Dauster loved Ryan Boatwright.
Oh, he was a stud. How do you not? Like
I didn't.
Well, that's on you. That says a lot more about you than it does about Ryan Boatwright.
So
Ryan Boatwright is electric.
Let me make
electric. That's fine. He was a little unpredictable.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
that's fine. Goodman, and you are predictable.
I'm very.
Okay, we're not doing Ryan Boatwright here. We're going to talk about this UConn team. I have
reel him in.
I have one point I want to make about Adama Sanogo. You guys tell me this. We build this entire season for the entire sport as the year of the big. You guys printed out 100,000-page almanacs with 11 different big men on the cover. Adama Sanogo was one of them. What makes Adama Sanogo's season and his run in this tournament different from every other big that was on the cover of the Year of the Big for me is that I think going from last year to this year, he made a jump that no other big did other than Zach Edey, who's about to win National Player of the Year. I mean, we talk about Oscar Tshiebwe, National Player of the Year last year.
Trace made a huge jump, too.
Trace
huge.
Made a big jump.
Oh, huge.
A big jump. But Adama got better pretty much across the board.
Well, Adama's team. I mean, it's just Adama's team, too. I mean,
but he wasn't making shots like this. I mean, he had two threes before the first.
Well, that was part of the reason he came back is because Hurley allowed him to do that, right? That was part of the whole plan to get him back. Not that he was going to really go anywhere, but it was more of, hey, I'll allow you to step out and shoot some threes. And
but
again, the kid works.
It's not just the three-point shooting either. Like
passing.
It was now he has, since people have to come out and guard him, he's developed that pump fake, one dribble to his left, and get all the way to the rim. He does that really well. He had one of those tonight. He had a little Euro step finish at the
Today's episode is presented by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball's pick'em, where you get real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's games. In pick'em, all you do is pick whether a player will go higher or lower in Underdog's projected totals. That's points, rebounds, whatever. If you're like me and you think Marquise Noel is going to go absolutely nuts this weekend, pick higher on his points projection, throw in a couple of other picks, and if you hit them all, you can win 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured it out. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, FIELD, to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Get in on the madness now.
The rim, I'd never seen that from him before. It's the passing. Against Gonzaga, the way that they were able to beat him up in the first half was because you got Adama on the short rolls, and he's able to find Andre Jackson when they're trying to, what do they call it, dorking?
You call it. Some people call it dorking. I call it monster manning.
When they try to
just
do the
depends.
Andre Jackson defense, he was able to find him, and they were able to blow up the defense that way. So the ability that they have to make themselves, you can't game plan them. Like, how do you scheme them? You try to scheme them by not guarding Andre Jackson. They've solved that. Miami tried to game plan them by not guarding Adama Sanogo, and that lasted 2.5 minutes. And then they ripped everything up and started again from scratch.
Actually, I thought Miami did a pretty good job game plan wise because they did limit Hawkins. I think you tweeted that at halftime, right?
Yeah, Jordan Hawkins was 50% of himself today. That's what everybody in that locker room said. He was 50% of himself.
But
the calamari. I mean,
yeah, at Maestro's. But here's the thing, too. I think him coming out and hitting that first one was big for the team just to kind of uplift them. And then Miami started an 11-2 hole because Sanogo hits 2 when nobody's guarding him. Hawkins hits 1. Then Sanogo, what was it, another up and under layup. I was wondering if anybody else was going to help Sanogo out. And guys, this team is playing as well as anybody in the last 10 years not named Baylor in 21. Like, dominant. On the boards, moving the ball.
The only one I would put in the conversation is Villanova 2018. Villanova 2018 rolled through everybody. They beat somebody by 44 in the Final Four.
And honestly,
44. That's a lot of
teams
points.
just seem stronger then. Like, that's the difference, right? Like, this year, no disrespect, but again, you're talking about some teams that aren't as high-powered this year. The gap has closed.
Across the whole sport or on the run that UConn played?
No, both. I would say, across the sport. Again, just because of all the factors we've been talking about, over and over and over with the extra COVID year and the portal being, you don't have to sit out. There's just so many factors.
Okay.
The crazy part is like UConn outscored them in the paint by 16. They're just so overwhelming, and we knew that coming in. But the fact that they continue to do it night in and night out, there's nothing going to happen. But one point about this UConn team, there was a point towards the back end of the first half where they stalled a little bit, and Hurley went to his bench, and the bench ended up closing the half. I mean, Donovan Clingan, his stats weren't as loud as some other people's, but like that dude made a massive impact, blocking shots around the rim. Yeah, Caravan made some really nice moves. The bench play. Hurley realized how well they were playing there in the last 5 or 6 minutes. He just said, "Hey, I'm not putting my starters back in. I'm going to ride these guys," and that's recognition by him.
Part of the leap that they made, it wasn't just like everyone wants to credit. Oh, they figured out Andre Jackson. They figured out how to make this work. It wasn't just him. Like, Naheem Aline has been
Way
for
better
the last,
now. Way
for the last
better.
2 months.
Oh,
he's been the guy.
He was kind of buried for a while there.
Well, they switched the rotation. So it started where Joey Calcaterra was coming in for him, and now Naheem Aline is the sixth man. He's the first guy off the bench unless there's foul trouble, right? And him coming in and being another option to be able to get a shot, another guy to space the floor, and most importantly, another guy that can guard anybody on the perimeter. Like, you notice today, when they brought him in, they put him on, they can play him at the 4. Right. Like, he was guarding Jordan Miller for times today. So
that's the difference.
Yes.
That's the difference between him and Calcaterra. Like, he didn't shoot the ball worth anything today. He was 4 of 11, 0 for 5 from 3. Like, he didn't shoot it well.
Jordan?
No, Naheem Aline.
Naheem Aline, yeah.
Yeah.
But he made a couple big ones. Like, he got the offensive rebound in the lane, had that little float. Yeah. Like, there were ones where you were like, all right, Miami's making a little bit of a run. Like, you need one here.
No, but my only thing is he provides more versatility defensively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
No, I wasn't disagreeing with